Okay, Brent, take it away.
All right. So today we're going to learn about divs in CSS. The reason why it's important to know about divs is that tables are created more for displaying data, like textual data. They weren't really made for layout, but they were commonly used for layout because you can hide the border and just display images and text there. They're limited because the way you need to position things sometimes can't be done in a table. If you want a login bar that's fixed to the top, if you want a responsive website, maybe better said, because you probably go to fix the table to the top. But a responsive website is a website that will work perfectly on mobile, tablet, desktop. No matter where you're looking at the website, it will respond to you. That basically said is if this is your website, you had 3 divs in it. That's on your desktop. If you went to a mobile browser, now those boxes would automatically stack on top of each other. Divs can do that. Tables, the cells, the layouts, they're really static. They're not dynamic. They can't change with you. So with that said, using divs with CSS, you can create beautiful websites, responsive websites, and CSS is cascading style sheets. Those were introduced because to put all the style information inside of a HTML document takes up way more space than you need to. And if it's just kilobytes per page, over time that compounds, it makes the internet slower. By having a style sheet that's global to all your documents, your website will load the display information, the styles, like what color the div should be, the font type for the page, etc. And rather than applying all the formatting data to each spot on the website, you can just reference that style sheet, making it much quicker to download and display information to your browser. Um, all right. So, do you guys have any questions on why divs in CSS are important? No, it's okay. All right. When you unmuted your mic, I was like, wondering if you're gonna ask. All right. So, let me share my desktop. I create a few basic template files basically to go through to show you guys how divs are used. So the first thing that I did was create a single div that is just centered. The code is extremely simple. View page source. All right, so you create a div, open and close tag, just like when you would make a table, you open and close it, or font tag, any tag. The style information, I didn't put it in a style sheet yet, just while I'm showing you guys how to use div. But you set the width and the height, and that created the square. Margin auto will make it automatically center the div. So I like to use that when I'm making the main container for my website. And then I set a background color. If I didn't set a background color, you guys wouldn't be able to see where the div actually was. As you guys get further and further into web development, I recommend if you don't already have Google Chrome downloaded, you download it. You can right-click, inspect elements, and you can actually edit the HTML and CSS without even, you know, downloading a file. You can modify it and see what happens. If I put margin 10 pixels, now it just made a margin of 10 pixels around this, and now it's not centered, for instance. So the first thing I want you guys to do, even though it's a very simple step, is to open up a notepad document. And in that document, we're going to recreate this code so you guys can see exactly how that works, and then we can start putting information inside of that container. So, all right, the first thing, as already, is you declare the type of document. And this stuff, while it's good to have there, you don't need to put that in just while you're practicing. Head tag, title, head, body, and this is the div itself. All right, so I'm just letting you know when you guys have that part, and now I'll show you guys how to create sections inside of that div with other divs. Basically the same way you would have a table row, table column. You can mimic that with divs. Okay. I put it in the chat box too in case typing any of it was well.
So the exercise, Brent, is to recreate this code and display it. Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yes. When you go to save it, make sure you go to save as, and then when you go to name it, you'll have to name it something like, if you just name it index and click save, it's going to name it as a text file. Make sure you put .html. By saving it as a .html file, let me so in here, if I say this is .html,
Yeah.
it will now automatically open up the browser, but since it's Notepad, it's going to try and default to .csv if you don't specify it.
And Daniel, are you on a Mac or a PC? Windows or iOS?
Me?
Yeah, Daniel? Yeah.
I am in a Mac.
Okay. You have no trouble saving files as HTML files? You know how to do that on Mac? It's a little bit trickier than on Windows.
Yes, I'm having a little problem because I can't find where to make a text.
Oh, you need a text editor?
Yes.
So on Apple, I think it's called, in your accessories, I think there's something called Apple Text or, hold on a second.
Yeah, because in my PC I work well because I have Notepad and Dreamweaver, but this is not my computer, so it's a little bit tricky.
So what you do is like in the top right corner of the screen, there's like that magnifying glass thing. Click that. And then and then in it you just type in text edit, and then that's like that's like Notepad for
Text edit, that's it, thank you. Now the problem with text edit is you have to make some settings in order to save your file as an HTML raw text file as opposed to a rich text format. So let's actually go through that. Let me see if I can call up PowerPoint.
Should we pass Daniel the ball just so anyone else that has Mac can see that on the recording?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, now I'm the presenter.
Okay. Share your desktop, Daniel, and we'll guide you through the settings.
Okay. So
Peter's exactly right. You need to go to your accessories and get text edit. That's the equivalent of Notepad.
Okay, so here we are. Well, I'm having problems also with the exam server, so I'm trying to get it work. But so here, what do I need to
Finder.
open? At the Finder, okay.
Applications. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Aplicaciones.
Okay. Yes.
And look for text edit here. Text
Here.
edit is right on the bottom right corner. Text edit.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
This is equivalent to Notepad. Oops. What happened? Double click on text edit. Is it not called up?
No, I click in text edit and it opens.
Nuevo documento. I think that bottom left you can create a new document, right? On that text edit.
Sorry?
I think at the bottom left, it says Nuevo documento. I'm guessing that means new document, right?
Yes. where it says nuevo documento? Here.
Left
Here.
of text edit.
Okay.
I think that would. I'm guessing there. I'm not a Mac guy, but
Okay. So go here.
Did it? We can't tell that you set up a new document yet. The screen hasn't refreshed on our end. Are you looking at it? Oh, there we go. Okay. So now you have to go to, yes, okay. So let's just stop right there.
Okay.
And just save your file, because this is where the tricky part is. So we want to do file save, which is save as guardar.
Save as. The thing is that it doesn't. Here. For that. I think my page does like this.
Okay, now here's where we have to be really careful. We want to save this as not RTF, Documento RF. Save this as, yep, save it as pure text. Yep.
There?
Yep.
Okay. So it automatically will save it as .html if you choose that one. That should be okay. That should work, right, John?
Yeah. And then you want to save to a folder on your desktop that says your web page or web page Daniel, something like that. Are you still not? I don't think you're still there, but let's check. Did you save that to? You saving it to a cloud or to your desktop? It's probably better to save it to your desktop.
I save it in my desktop.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be here. This one.
Okay. All right. So if you double click on that, does it open the browser? Double click on it. It should open it in a browser. If not, okay. Ooh.
All right, perfect. I mean, it's just text in there right now, so it should only until he puts the rest of the tags in, but that means it's working fine.
Okay. Well, all right. So let's put a little bit more text in. I'm not sure we've got it completely right yet, but specify the same text that Brent put up on the whiteboard.
Okay, where is that text?
I can put it into the chat box.
Yes, please.
There we go. Anyway, I have to say thank you. While you guys are learning web design, I think I'm learning another language watching your desktop. I need to learn more languages.
Hmm?
I have a feeling we still need to make a setting on the Mac text editor in order to get it to save it as a HTML.
I get what you mean. You think it's saving it as a text output versus the tag.
Right. So I'm pretty sure we have to change some other settings. I think I know where they are, but let's see if this works. So we copy and
So it's suppose that if I put here
paste the text that Brent put in the chat box.
I didn't see
The
the
entire source code into that website.
In the chat box is all the source code that Brent created. Go to the chat box. The way you get the chat box is put your cursor at the top of the screen and you'll see a drop-down menu. And then click on chat and the chat window will come open.
Here it is, the chat box, but it is only when Peter says, hey, and then nothing else.
Oh, I know why. I accidentally sent it to admin. Sorry about that.
Okay.
There you go. I always find it odd that...
So here it is.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, good. So then file save that and let's see if this displays in your browser. File save it and then go to your desktop where that file is. Double click on it or open it with, right click on it and open it with one of your browsers. Yeah.
He only have Safari.
Okay, so this is the problem. So now what we have to do is when you're in text edit, go back to text edit, Danielle. Okay, where we see your code. Yep. Okay. No, this is open. Can you expand that box a little? All right. So let's go under, at the very top under text edit. Let's see if there's properties or, yep, right there. No, let's go under edit, edición. We're looking for settings. Try format. No, I don't see it there.
Preferencias?
Preferences, that's it, right? Yep. That's it. Good catch, good get. And when that opens, okay, here's where we have some changes to make.
Texto normal.
See where it says format RTF? We have to say click on texto normal. Yep. And hold on, there's more changes we have to make. Go to abrir y guardar. And
Here?
Mostrar archivos. Yep, we can click on that. Yep, put there. And there's UTF, Unicode 8, that's fine. Tipo, see where it says tipo de documento? Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Tipo. Yep, we want that. We want that. Okay, HTML strict is fine. Estilo, CSS. Okay, let's try that. So we could close this or save these settings. And now let's save it again. Save your file again, guardar. And then try to open it, go to your desktop and click on the file open with. Safari, good. Yeah.
No.
No. Okay. There's still another setting we need to change there. Let's go back to text edit. This is a problem we've had many times with the Mac, trying to get the text editor to save it in the right format.
Yes.
One possibility too, this next setting doesn't do it, is if we download an HTML document off of the internet and then edit that in text edit, do you think it will default to the right setting?
That's a possibility. We should know. Let's see if we can. Let's go through one more pass before we do that. It's a great idea.
That's the last resort.
Yeah, great idea. But we should figure out what the settings are, because I've seen this many times and I know it's doable. Let's go back to those preferences, text edit preferences. Yeah. Okay, let's make sure we've got every box checked right here on both tabs. So, extension, oh, see where it says abrir la extension .txt? Let's take that. Let's take that out. We don't want to add .txt. So you see it says open with, or add the extension .txt. Right, got that. Okay. See where it says Automatica? Let's look at what the options are there. Okay, let's do Unicode UTF-8. Yep. Yep. And let's do the same thing for save. Unicode UTF-8. Yep. Okay, what else do we have here? Strict, style, Unicode, codification. Okay, let's go to the other. Okay, that one come here. Anything else looks like we need to change here? And what's that? What? I don't know what that is. Oh, those are fonts. Okay. All right, let's try that. There are. Oh no. Okay, so we should be able to just exit out of that since we set those preferences. Just to close that. Yep.
And save this one, no?
Save that now. All right.
No. Okay.
Still displays this way.
How does it look if you go to view source code on that? Does it? I'm just wondering, like, what if it's adding extra stuff when it saves to format it.
Where?
View source.
Okay.
I'm just curious. What would that?
Yeah, right click on the right click on your white area and view source.
It doesn't display that like HTML, like a page, so.
Oh, it won't let you.
Okay. Interesting.
Is there a place where you can see view source code visualization?
To
Visualization. There's visualization
okay.
at the top. Allow you to look at the source code.
If it doesn't, don't spend too much time on that. I was just curious to see it, like at a glance, to see if it was different from the text.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
I'll tell you what. Rather than burn up too much time here, Daniel, on this, I'm going to send you a PowerPoint that explains how to do this. And in the meantime, Brent, if you can just go ahead so Peter can follow you, and we just have to follow what Brent's doing and try to replicate it after. In the meantime, Daniel, I'll send you a PowerPoint that explains how to set up text edit.
That would be great. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will pass the call to Brent.
All right, thanks.
Sorry, Peter.
And I'll try something. I'm going to share the file just so you can download it and then try and edit the HTML file in text edit, and maybe it will let you follow along still. Just as a hold me over till John gets out that PowerPoint. I'll do section. All right, so that should upload. Shared. Okay. So to get that, I think either a pop-up that appears or it's like file, maybe the transfer at the top left. But all right, so share desktop. All right, so that was the first. This one was the first one. Source code, very simple. Everything you already know. Only thing different inside the body tag is a div tag with the width, height, margin auto to center it, and a background color so we can see it. Only thing really new there is the fact that we use the div, and that margin auto centers it. Next one is sections, is what I named it, because this creates different sections. This is a div with 4 divs in it. And the way I got the divs to line up like this was pretty simple. I just put the divs inside, but there's a property called float left. If I was to get rid of float left in the bottom one, it would completely distort how this looks right now. Because what float left does is, let me get a, okay. Alright, so if you have a div and it floats left, it goes as far left as it can. If it's inside of another div, it will go as far left till it hits the end of that div. Now if I was to put another div into this guy, the divs, they want to start as much as possible, they're going to go horizontally. Now, if this is only, say 300 pixels, and this is 100, you'd get 3 divs across. But if you put in a 4th div, it can't go outside of this other div. It has a boundary. So as soon as you put in a 4th one, if these are all 100 pixels, that last one, it has to be forced to the bottom. And then if you put in a 5th one, it shows up to the right of that, because it's still going as left as possible. And if you add in another one, it lines up like that. So this code is very, it's just an evolution of that last one. Alright, so documented, the first one you already saw was div centered. That's a 600 by 600 one. I added in a thing called pattern. All pattern does is it creates a little bit of extra space around the outside, because without that, this would look really weird. You wouldn't be able to tell if there was, the red div behind this.
Yeah.
Then, oh, this one's section navigation using div. Alright, that's not supposed to be div sections nav. Open the wrong one. Div sections. Alright, so the first section is this. If I was to remove all these other ones right now and save this, I only get 1. So inside this code you see what you already have, but div open, instead of having the close tag right next to it, I now have this one right here. So this other one goes in between. I set the width, I set the height. So the main div is 600 pixels by 600 pixels. I wanted it to take up 1/4. So I made it take up a half of the height, half of the width. The float left CSS style will create, that container is always going to go as far left as possible, and they'll want to go horizontal, like I was doing in Paint. Background color, I just gave it a random color that wasn't red, just so you could see it on top of it. Inside of that div, I put text, and then I closed it. And then I just did that, for the next one. I copied and pasted, changed the color. Oh no, yeah, here it is. Change the color, change the text inside. Alright, so let me
Peter,
refresh that.
does this make sense, Peter?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Is there a way that we can get this file to Peter so he can copy and paste it into his text editor and edit some of the copy to start creating his own page? Or does Peter have to retype this all?
No, I'm gonna send it, and I'm gonna put it in the chat box again.
Okay.
Also, well, I'll just kind of skim through the last piece then. Section 3 was the bottom left. I changed the height, so that's why it's a little bit shorter. And then section 4 is the bottom right. If I wanted to just copy and paste a fifth section, I could paste that in. That is gonna show up at the bottom. So I will let me go to File. I want to transfer that one to you guys, and then I'll share my screen again and just leave that code up so you guys can see that. Desktop, DIY. Okay, div sections, div sections. Here we are. All right, so that should upload. Let me know when you guys get that, just to make sure it's shared. And I'll also put that in the chat box as well. And John, I know that you were asking about divs in the CSS before. What are you thinking of this so far? Yeah.
Good. I think at the end we just need to make sure that we understand the benefits of using CSS and divs instead of tables. And I think you explained it perfectly. Let's just reinforce that at the end to make sure we understand why divs are so much more flexible and why divs accommodate style sheets much better than tables do. And therefore you can define your whole website in one style sheet. And if you want to change the font or a color, you just change it in one place and it'll ripple through all of your web pages, through all of your divs. You have much more ability to control the look and feel of a div than you do the look and feel of a cell in a table.
Yeah, actually, to give a great example of that, just so that, okay, if I wanted to do something like, I could name style, and then, I can make a class called, red-div. And rather than putting all the style down here, all this information could be right here.
Yeah.
And the next evolution of this would be, this would not even be in the same document, it would be in a different text file.
Yes.
So now instead of putting all this style right here, let's see what I can put class equals red div.
Dash.
Good.
Like this, and if I save this section 1, let me just put, section 1 right in there so you can still see it. It still has all the style information. Now, I could take this, and rather than having all these, if these were all going to be the same, it's kind of funny because it's green. I named it red div. But regardless of that, you can see that this style is going to echo throughout all these now. Let me delete the script when I do in there. If I save this and I refresh this, I now have all those guys there. If I want to, let me make this only 200 by 200, and if I gave it a margin, and I made that 10 pixels, now it's the 200 by 200 instead of 300 by 300, but on each side of this, there is a little bit of spacing.
This is a great example, Brent. Perfect. Of the beauty of style sheets and see in combination with divs.
Font color to become green. Oh,
this will ensure that
I messed up.
you're consistent if you use these style sheets, and it will minimize your download time because you define all of your color and sizing parameters and font parameters in one place, and they only need to be downloaded once, as opposed to every time you want to use them.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you had to put this on every single div. Now, that's already almost 4 times more text. Class equals something versus all of it. So if you had 100 different boxes on your page, you don't have to define them all like this. That's a lot of kilobyte saved. And when people visit your website, that's a lot of bandwidth saved, compounded.
Not to mention all the typing time it takes to put that in.
Very true. You decide later, man, I really wish I didn't use Times New Roman. I should have used Arial font. And I wish it was gray instead of black because there's too much contrast. Now you got to go back through your website. Every single page of your website, every single part where you put that code. This, I just have to change it once on each page. And if you made a style sheet separate from this document, you can put all this type of information into one file and just load that file with one line of code. Off the top of my head, I already messed it up, but something like link, I think it's like something like this. I always Google it when I go to remember it, but you can just define a style sheet, and then you don't need this stuff in here. And I'm sure that was the wrong markup, but just to give the idea.
Great. Brent, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. So how are you guys doing with the code? Were you able to get it to display in your browsers okay? And were you guys able to manipulate it?
Yeah, I don't know why was the code that you sent. It displayed very well in the browser, but I don't know if it has a special format so it can display. But
The colors you said?
just fine. Well, what?
Which thing you said didn't display, right? Or
No, all that you sent displayed well.
okay,
The
awesome.
file.
Awesome.
Yes.
It displays for me too in Google Chrome.
Good. So the challenge, guys, over next week is to try to take what Brent taught you regarding divs and CSS and rethink your websites, your personal web pages, so that they reflect the use of divs and CSS. So Peter, I'm gonna, unless you have any more, Brent, let's go and see if we can troubleshoot Peter's problem.
Sure.
Actually, Brent, let me key you since you have the ball. You remember the Invention Universe? How to get on the iPage server?
Not off the top of my head, but I think I have the wiki bookmark.
All right, let's go to the wiki bookmark. It'd be good if you did this, because then everyone else can follow what they have to do to get on the iPage server. So let's go to buildyourself.com/dev.
All right.
Yep. Log into our wiki /dev for development, and then go to wiki project management site. And I might have to log in here.
You will. As soon as you click on a link, you have to log in.
Okay.
The link that you guys want to go to get to the iPage, you go to Intern Personal Website. As soon as you click it, it's going to prompt you to log in. So just click login. And I believe the password is, the username is intern.
Yeah.
Word. Spell it.
Robot Sushi 1, capital R, capital S. Same as when you log on to the webcast. So this is really important, guys, so that you know where to go to get information when Brent and I aren't around.
All right. So I clicked this link. Let me actually redo that. I just held down Control and clicked it, so it opens a new tab.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday this was down, the website. So let's see if hopefully it's up. Okay. Login is up here. So username or domain and password. So if you look here, username or domain, mention universe.com. Password is robot-sushi00, capital R, capital S. But you don't even have to remember that. You can just copy and paste it out of the wiki if you remember how to get to the wiki. So log in.
Okay, Daniel and Peter. Okay. Now we want to go to File Manager. Let's look for Peter's folder. There's Peter's folder.
Peter Glass or Peter?
Peter Glass. All right. Okay, and HTML. So it looks good. So let's Brent, let's check if you can open Peter's page. There. Yeah, Peter, it looks like it's going fine. What's the matter with that?
Oh, because I typed in Invention. Oh, wait a second. Hang on. Let me try something. I might have just typed it in wrong. Hang on.
Invention-universe.com.
Yeah, I might have missed the dash.
Okay. Looks like it's good. So now, if you want to upload new pages or edits to existing pages, you just have to do exactly what Brent did and upload the new files, new images, new HTML files. And Daniel, we can give you a folder on this. You can create your own folder if you want to create a personal website on this ISP. Okay, so
maybe.
Now the other question is, how come something didn't center?
Yeah, I want to get something to center, but I can't get to. And it's
We pass you the ball and we'll look at your code.
Oh, this right here, right?
Well, yes, I need that to center, but I also I haven't uploaded it to like a website or whatever or updated it or whatever. But the slideshow thing that you showed me how to do last time, I couldn't figure out how to center that.
Okay, so Peter, we're going to pass you the ball and we'll try to troubleshoot your slideshow centering problem.
Okay, okay. So all of this is the slide, or all of this is the slideshow part.
All right. So let's see. Can you maximize that
a little bit more?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So the class slideshow is where the images of slide go. So it's that CSS that needs to be centered. So right now it says width is 480, height is 360, overflow hidden. Background is set, the pattern is set, and that is actually all the code there. So let's see. Okay. So width, height. Let's try adding margin 0. So that I'll put that in the chat box. Inside of class slideshow, like let's say after, where you have background color, colon, hashtag 0f0, semicolon. After the semicolon, simply put margin 0 and see if, not 0, auto.
Wait, I don't see the background color thing. The background color part.
Okay,
Oh, here it is.
yeah, so after the semicolon.
Okay. I will copy. No. Okay, copy. Paste. Is there a space in between them or not?
You can put a space there just so it looks a little cleaner, but
Okay.
okay, so save that and then refresh your page.
Oh wait, I need to open it with Google Chrome.
Wow, is this Windows 8?
Yeah.
Sweet. I haven't used this.
Pretty awesome. I like Windows 8. Oh, there we go. Yeah, now it's working.
Hey, Brent, nice.
Yay!
So we got margin 0.
Look at this. Cool.
Equal, basically equal space on each side to center it.
Alright, and then I need to
I love this slideshow, the way it shuffles the deck.
Thanks. So now I need to center this. So I just put margin in it too.
Yeah, that should work. Let's see the code though, just to make sure what type of container it's in. If it's in a table, we might just need to do align center. If it's in a div, we should just do the same thing with margin 0. Auto. I keep saying 0 because I don't know why I keep saying that. With HTML and the HTML tag and body tag, I always put pattern 0, margin 0, and that comes out of my mouth before I say.
Sweet, Peter.
Okay, this is the thing.
This is okay.
This is the picture.
Yeah, I see. Let's go to the TR right above it. Let's see what's different. This table row is left justified, and all the other table rows are sent. Oh, it's like you close the table. You close the table, so this is like a brand new table. see where it says slash table right above where your cursor is?
Oh, so I should get rid of the slash table?
Well, no, not, you want to put it
Down.
at the bottom of your table. Put it at the bottom of this last row. So you have slash table slash div. You want to put that at the very bottom. Take it out from above there. Yeah. Just delete that or copy it and yep. And then you want to do the same thing with the slash div. Is that right, Brent?
There.
Yeah, I just wasn't completely sure yet because there might have been a table in table, but that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, and perfect.
There we go. Now it's working.
Did you put the div back at the bottom too? Let's go to your source code again. Make sure it's clean. You need the div below the table. See, you have forward. Yeah, take that out of there. That shouldn't be there. And that should be at the bottom of the table.
And that P also. Yeah, the P tag in between table row and table row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one?
Yep. It'll automatically create that line P for you, the P. Put for, no, you don't need P there, just the /div. Perfect. You understand the logic there? You're opening the table at the top and you're closing it after you've defined your last row, and you're setting up the div that defines where your table is going to be, and then you want to close the div after the table.
Okay.
Nice work, Peter.
Thank you.
Yeah, really nice.
You know, just as a point of graphic design, I think the yellow attracts attention. It makes your site really loud, but it also, if your website gets big, the yellow tends to be really hard on your eyes. So it's like it's a little bit too much color for me. But, you know, it's a matter of taste. When you put loud colors like that, it tends to give some people a headache.
And it really depends on your target audience sometimes. Like, if you were doing this for like a business or something, you definitely need to have less contrast than that. Or just it being your personal site, you can get away with vibrant colors and things, but typically if a business or advertisers are using this, it would have to appeal to a wider range of people. And what I've noticed too is like, oh sorry.
No, go ahead, Brett.
Well, I was gonna say this is that the older people I know, like 50s, 60s, older, when they see that very like high contrast, sometimes it's hard to read. Like for instance, like if you had a white website with black text, that's fine when you're younger, but sometimes you need to make the background a little bit less white and the foreground a little bit less black, just so it's not as hard on the eyes. Does that make sense?
If you go to the Apple website, Apple's sort of generally considered the best of the best when it comes to graphic design. You'll see that they rarely use black text. Most of their text is a shade of gray. So they tend to avoid really strong contrast. When they do a lot of text, the text tends to be a shade of gray. You can see that they want to emphasize the color in their product, not in their background. So if you have a very large background, very loud background, it detracts attention from the beautiful picture of the iPhone. So this is a good example of why you wouldn't use loud backgrounds or dramatic contrast. It's easier on the eye to read text that is a shade of the background rather than, dramatically different than the background.
Yeah.
So if you have a website with a lot of text, you want to be careful not to make it too loud. It's hard on your eyes.
Okay.
This general design philosophy that you'll see Apple use. And if you want to know what the standard is, go to Apple. Apple is the master of graphic design. Okay, Brent.
I didn't just going to Apple.
Yeah. Okay, Peter, have a nice week.
Thank you. You too.
Next week. Look forward to seeing your website.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Peter.
All right. Thanks for joining, guys.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Peter.